Everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. Listen, have some fun, but don't ever do, believe, or promote anything they say. They're idiots.
Guys, hold up. You should know, this ain't for everybody. Welcome to Savagely Loud. What's happening, people? Guys, welcome back to the show for the people that understand that facts divided by feelings equals failure. I'm Cliff, I'm your host, and obviously it's Thursday, so I've got Dave Anderson again with me. But before we get to our conversation today, if you want to help me out, you want to help me get these truths out, get these words out, you can follow me on Instagram at Savagely Loud. That is where I'm most active. On that page, you're going to find two links. One of those links is the Savagely Loud podcast page on Instagram. If you could please follow me there as well, that would be greatly appreciated, as that will inevitably be my backup page. The other link you're going to find is a simple link tree. Anywhere you want to hear my rants or see my videos, you can find them there. So it's pretty self-explanatory. You can figure that out. Outside of that, Facebook, X, Rumble, and Substack, which I'm not quite active on yet, but Facebook, X, Rumble, and Substack, you can follow me at Savagely Loud. You can follow me on YouTube at Savagely Loud Podcast, and you can email me in at savagelyloud@gmail.com. I would strongly encourage that you do if you want me to see your communications. I have mountains and mountains and mountains of messages to get through, and it just seems never ending. So if you want me to see your shit, email me. Last but not least, don't forget to like, comment, and share the material. Don't forget to rate the shows, review the shows. It really does help us immensely get into the algorithm to get this truth out to people that need to hear it. So if you could just help us out by that simple little thing, is just leave a review, rate the show, and then click all the follows, likes, shares, and all that kind of stuff. And without further ado, Dave Anderson, how are we doing today?
Oh, you know what? It's another beautiful day. That's all I got to say, man. It's a beautiful fucking day. Unfortunately, it is Sunday, and unfortunately, we got fucking snow. I wasn't counting on that.
I thought we were going to have like 2 or 3 inches by the time I went disc golfing this morning, frolfing as I call it. But it was all right. It was kind of a mess, but
yeah, it was a little slushy. And then I noticed that they salted the fucking roads, and I'm like, well, that means the bike goes away.
Yeah, the bike definitely goes away then. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? Plug all your sites, all your pages, all your everythings.
All right. So I'm heavily active over there on Instagram and on Facebook at The Hammer Drops. I'm also available over there on TikTok, although I did get a community violation, so it might not be there very much longer because of the shit I post. And then obviously on YouTube as well. You can also check out all my stuff on thehammerdrops.com, and that'll take you to all the other all the different podcast platforms that I am on. And don't forget to like, share, review, because like Cliff says, it helps us break those algorithms.
It really does. And speaking of .coms, mine is on the way. We're still working on it, working through it, getting it all organized, looking cool as fuck. But it's a slow process. So, because I got a lot of shit to do. I've got some other things coming up that are really, really fucking cool, and I'm not really allowed to talk about just yet. But I will have updates on that stuff coming up. But yeah, once SavagelyLoud.com becomes a website, we'll have our gear ready for you, our first initial launch, this and that and the other thing. So stay tuned, stick with it. We're getting there. It's a longer process than I want it to be. I know it's a longer process than you want it to be, but it is what it is. And that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when it comes to websites, man, there's no easy way of fucking doing it. There really isn't.
Well, the easiest way to do it is just to hire somebody and say, this is what I want, make it happen. And, it also takes the personality out of it. It also takes, I'm one of those people that I like to connect with my shit. If something is branded with my branding on it, I want to be connected to that. I want to be, I want to be quality control. I want to be the designer. I want to be the overseer of the projects. Mm-hmm. I want to be all this. And I understand that a lot of the times you can't be, because when you've got other things rolling, you have to figure out where you fit best, where your business or your brand needs you the most, and then you need to go there and then get people to fill in the gaps for you.
Yeah, but that does take all the fun out of it, doesn't it?
It takes all the stress out of it. Jesus. Fucking... So
Yeah.
guys, what we need to have a fucking chat. Okay. This show, I want to revolve it around extremities because I made a video on my social media a couple of days ago regarding this kind of topic, and I want to get deeper into it. I want to get deeper into the notion that every single fucking time anything gets brought up, the human psyche, the human mind nowadays immediately goes to the extreme, right? So the example I use is as a white guy, if I come on the internet, which I fucking do, if I come on the internet and I go, man, I sure am proud of the fucking color of my skin and the shit that my people have accomplished, the black community immediately just jumps off a ledge and starts blowing its top, thinking that I'm saying that all the black people should fucking die, all the black people are worthless, all the black people are fucking scum of the earth. It's always this extreme. And likewise, on the flip side, if a black man comes out and he's like, black pride, all of a sudden the white guys are like, do you see, I told you, all these motherfuckers want us to die. That's the way it is. We got to fucking fight back, blah, 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 blah. When it really has nothing to do with that. So I want to dive into the extreme ends of the spectrum of the human mind today and why we go there, where we go there, and what happens when we get there. How's that sound to you, Dave?
Let's fucking do it.
So here's the thing, all right? Like I said, when a white guy comes on the internet and he says, I'm proud of my skin color, I'm proud of the accomplishments of my people, we get a bunch of pushback. And then inherently, then we just fly off the handle, right? We get into this state of defense, right? Now, if somebody's coming at us, we now have to defend ourselves. And what happens when you get into a state of defense? All you want to do is go for the jugular. You go for the throat, you shut down the threat immediately, and then you walk away victorious. Here's the issue, is that is part of the game that the elites want us playing, because we are in a situation in society all the way across the globe where there is a certain demographic of people that owns the world. It runs shit, and we don't have a say in it. We get these votes and things to make us feel like we're taking part, but we're not actually taking part. We're not actually part of the system. We are part of what keeps the system moving, right? And I understand that can be kind of confusing, saying you're not part of the system, but you're part of the system, but you're the part that keeps it moving. The reason I say we're not part of the system is because the system in itself is a system of control. It's everything in the dominoes that is this system that we live in. All these dominoes are set very, very precisely by the people that run the world. They know human nature. They know what humans will do when they get put into different demographic groups, when they introduce diversity, when they introduce multiculturalism. They know what we're going to do here at the bottom. And I know a lot of people don't like to accept the fact that we are at the bottom. We are, in fact, at the bottom. If you're not, going to the WEF forums and speaking on a stage, if you're not running a country, if you're not prime minister of some foreign, you're not at the top. We're at the bottom. There's top and there's bottom. That's the way it is. We have this fallacy of a middle class, but that's going away so quickly that we have to now adjust for the fight that's coming. The fight that's coming is between the bottom and the top. The middle class has historically been the buffer between the bottom and the top, but they've all but erased that now. So we need to get our heads into a different mindset. We need to get our heads into a different perspective and prepare for the fight that's coming. Would you tend to agree with that?
Yeah, I would. Actually, if I had an applause saying, I would, bravo. I mean, you hit the fucking nail on the head there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what people don't seem to understand is everything is designed to keep us divided. It has been this way for thousands of years. I mean, let's just be honest. And it's like you said, it's human nature. It's, because people always want to be in power. They don't want to lose power. So what's the best way to keep in power is by creating fear, by creating that divide that just keeps people at each other's throats. Because once that happens, then they can come out with the solution. Like, oh, hey, we got this solution now. We can fix it. Well, how come you can fix it now, but you weren't able to fix it then?
Well,
but then then when that issue's fixed, you ever notice another one comes, and then another, and then another, and then another. I think we talked about this before. You may have talked about this before, but back in like the 90s, when like the status quo was like level, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got along. It didn't matter the color of your skin, nothing like that. We didn't care if you were gay, if you were this, if you were that. Then all of a sudden that started to change. And once that started to change, when certain people took office and they just fucking slammed the gas 100 miles an hour and boom, we're here where we're at today. And it's just completely out of fucking control.
It really is. And it's all because of what you were talking about. You know, they create a problem and then they present themselves as the solution. If you're not familiar with the term of this, guys out there, it's called the Hegelian dialectic, which is just that. It's if I want to control things, right? I, being the leader of a society, will figure out a problem that will fuck up society enough to where it gives me the justification to step in and solve the problem. So if I'm looking at a society, let's take the American society. I'm looking at the American society, and let's say we're in the 90s. I'm looking around and I'm like, these motherfuckers are starting to get along. I don't think I can have this. If these all people get along, if all the whites get along with the blacks and the blacks get along with the whites and the whites and blacks get along with the Mexicans and then they get along with the yellows and the browns and the blues and the purples and the rainbows, I got a serious fucking problem on my hands. So what do I do about this? Then I'll gather my team and we'll figure out how to disrupt society. Mm-hmm. I know it sounds fucked up, and let's interject real quick. The reason that it sounds so fucked up to you that this happens is because you're a normal person. You listening to this right now, you're a normal fucking person. That's why this doesn't make any sense how people could operate like this. Because we as normal people always tend to believe that the people that run the world think like we do, and they just simply do not. We think like we do, they think like they do. And because they think like they do, they're on top and we're on bottom. But now, if we go back to the scenario, I'm sitting at a conference table with my team, and we're trying to figure out a way that we can disrupt society. We don't want to level it. We don't want a catastrophic wave of violence and pain and misery and death. We want to disrupt it just enough to break the bonds between the people at the bottom. And it doesn't really take that much to break bonds at the bottom, because at the bottom where we all live, we've got shit to worry about. We've got to go to work because we've got to make some money, and we've got to pay these bills that just keep getting bigger and bigger. And then we've got to save a little bit at the end of the bills for the groceries, which is getting more and more expensive. Then we need the gas in our car to fucking get to the groceries. Then we need the insurance to be able to drive. Every single thing in life piles up on the backs of the people at the bottom. And what that does is it puts us in a constant mindset of scarcity. It puts us in a constant mindset of agitation. We become physical representations of what agitation is at its core. We just walk around vibrating, waiting for the next shoe to fall, the next hammer to drop, the next fucking bad news to come our way, the next bad text message. We're always waiting for the next bad thing. And that's part of the plan, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, you got something to say. I heard it.
Well, see, let's just take that a little step further, because I mean, it happens in everyday life, and you might not even realize it, because sometimes even when you have to justify if you're not feeling good or something, you can't make it to work, and you're trying to justify it in your head, and you call in and you tell your boss, hey, I'm not feeling good. There are people out there that will play that in their head, like, fuck, am I going to be in trouble? Am I going to be in trouble? And then, and that's how they get you. And everybody's, whether you like to hear this or not, we've all been programmed from an early age to accept and to adapt to this. And they keep doing this. They keep throwing it at us. There's a reason why back in the early 1900s, or even maybe, I think it might have even been before that, with the Rothschilds changed the whole educational system with the books and all that stuff to take stuff out, to form this new way of teaching. And it's an indoctrination. And that's where we're at today as a society. And it doesn't matter where the fuck you're at. We're all programmed to be this way. It's time to hit the stop button and, like you were saying, and just fucking you got to let it go. You got to start accepting.
That's the thing, is what you said. It's the Franco-Prussian school system, and it's basically, it was implemented in ways and then altered throughout the course of time to create people into worker bees, worker drones. Like you said, we're taught to adapt to it, accept it, and adapt to it. So we don't talk, we don't speak back, or we don't talk back, we don't speak out, we don't yell. We just kind of quietly accept our own demise and march forward, making the man his money.
Right. Well, you know what? Let's call it for what it is. Let's just be honest. It's modern day slavery.
Oh yeah.
That's what we live in.
It's tax slavery.
That's all we live in. Your police are out there. They generate income for the state, yada, yada, yada. I mean, it just goes further and further, but that's, again, another way for them to keep everybody divided.
Right. And that's why they don't like people like me. So, like you mentioned, you got a strike on TikTok. I get asked all the time. People like, what's your TikTok? What's your TikTok? I do not have a TikTok, and I'm not going to have a TikTok. I did TikTok for a minute, and I blew the fuck up, like very quickly. I blew the fuck up. And it was China Talk at the time. It's not Jew Talk like it is now. But China Talk didn't like anything I had to say, which was really funny because I talk about racial, at its core, I talk about race relations. I talk about racial injustices on every side of the coin, how we, just to get it out there so that we can figure out a way of how we move forward. And China Talk didn't like that shit at all. And I will be damned if I go sign up for Jew Talk, because I'm not hearing anything better. Like, I heard China Talk was really bad, and now I'm hearing it's almost worse. Like it is. We thought that it was just going to who is it? Larry Ellison, I think, bought it, or Oracle. When they bought it, he bought it. When he bought it, we thought that was just like, you can say anything you want, just don't talk about the Jews. As it turns out, I'm seeing more and more and more and more people get strike after strike after strike after strike. Like it's almost like they're trying to shut it down, not necessarily trying to create this all-inclusive, diverse place full of love and compassion. It just seems like they're trying to get rid of it by not allowing people to express their opinions. And that's really how social media actually thrives, is giving people a voice, because that pulls back to everything we're talking about today. And I'll get into that about why, it's. Let's break into the racism factor, because I'm sure you get it. I get it a lot. Mm-hmm. You racist piece of shit. You fucking white trash motherfucker. You hate everybody, blah, 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 blah. Again, every time this comes up, I always will tell you, is it more racist for me to come on and talk about the problems in all of these other communities, including my own? I talk a lot of shit about white people as well. But is it more racist for me to come on and tell these demographics of people, all of you demographics of people out there that don't match me, whether it's skin color, ideologies, political alignment, whatever? Is it worse for me to come on here and talk about the problems that you have that bother the people in my community so that we can try to work this out? Or is it worse to just let you keep going without any fucking knowledge of how bad your community really is getting, and then wait till the end where it's unsavable, 100% unsavable across the board, and then just say, nuke the motherfuckers? Because that's really the fucking goal, is we want to put all this shit out on the table. We white people, we want to hear the problems that the black community has with us. But here's the caveat to that. And it does seem like a specific caveat that needs to be put in place these days, because a lot of the fucking hate that white people get is unfounded. It's absolutely unfounded. Most of the fucking hate that white people get in a general is that we run shit. What? Yeah. Like, have you not noticed we had a black president? Have you not noticed all the black and brown people in all of the governments? Have you not noticed that there's more governments across the globe that have brown people and black people running them than governments that have white people running them? Yeah. This is unfounded hatred, okay? And this is and so if you were to come to me and you say, I hate white people because they own slaves. Well, then you hate black people because they own slaves. You hate Jews because they own slaves. You hate fucking Middle Easterners, the Arabs, because they owned the most slaves of anybody. You hate Chinese people because they own slaves. You hate everybody because every single person has owned slaves. So when you come at me, I feel like when you say I hate white people because they owned slaves, I feel like that's a cheap blanket statement to cover your own insecurities. And those insecurities everybody has. This is the secret that they don't want everybody to know. Black people go around every single day, good black people, and they have massive insecurities about the shitty end of their fucking demographic. Same goes for white people. Same goes for brown people. Same goes for fucking Middle Eastern people. Every single good person, good member of a certain demographic is always worried about what the people at the bottom of that demographic are fucking doing. And the major reason is that because it's survival. You know, we all want our people to survive. We all want our people to thrive. And especially in America here, we want our homeland to survive more than anything else on earth. We want America to continue to thrive so that its citizenry can continue to prosper. But when we see behaviors in certain demographics of people, it becomes easy to blame that right then and there. Here's what I'm talking about. Like I said, we're all shaken, right? We've never been in a position in our lives, especially, or in the history of America, where it's ever been closer to being lost than it is right now. That has every one of us shaken. I don't give a shit if you're a white guy, a black guy, a brown guy, a red guy, a purple guy, a yellow guy, a green guy, a rainbow guy. It has us all shaken. And because of that, we live with that every single day, and we're always on edge. And then when we get into a situation where we can actually point at something like I do, okay, I come on the internet and I point at the black community, the brown community, the white community, whatever community I'm pointing at right then and there, and it rattles us even further. But here's the thing. It's an easy blame job, right? We need as people, we need to have closure. We need to have blame. We need to know that this is failing because of this. And when we're in front of somebody that is obviously acting in a way we disagree with, or that we believe is leading to the detriment or the downfall of our society, we immediately become enraveled with the blame game and blanket statementing all of the fucking hate that we have for anything onto this person. And I'll give you an example. If I'm standing in front of a black guy and he's a good American, he works really hard, he supports his family, and he's a great dad to his children, he lives in a nice neighborhood, and he's a huge benefit to society. I'm not thinking, as a normal person, I'm not thinking about his skin color. I'm thinking about his behavior and how great it is that we have men like him in this country to help bolster the numbers of good people in this country, because by bolstering the numbers of good people, we get to carry on this experiment that we're in. Now, if we flip that bitch around, though, and that same black guy is standing in front of me as a normal white dude, and I can see that he's got his pants down around his ass, looking like shit. Obviously he's got more care for the gold around his fucking neck than the house he lives in or the kids he left behind. He's gangbanging and he's hurting people in the streets. It becomes an immediate, you are the problem, and everybody like you is the problem. And then I start blanket statementing all of the black stereotypes and the black cliches and the black real information. All of the things that I've ever heard about the black community immediately get dump trucked onto the back of this dude. And this dude now becomes the face of the black culture. The reason this is happening is because I'm actually shaken to my core that his behavior is leading to the downfall of my homeland. But what's happening is my mind is convincing me from a primal level that it's because he's different than me that we have to argue. We have to hate each other. We have to battle. And you're the fucking reason that my people won't exist coming up.
Well, that's the playbook. Let's just call it for what it is. It's the fucking playbook. That's what they want.
Yeah.
They want us to be like this. And there's a reason for it, because if folks think about it like this, if every community, the white community, the black community, the Hispanic community, the reds, the purples, the greens, the rainbow, and all that, if we all got together, we're all on the same fucking page, do you realize we'd be unstoppable?
Yeah.
We would 100% be unstoppable. Yes, you have bad apples in a bunch, but we have to stop taking that one bad apple that's out of that bunch and, like you were saying, Cliff, blanket statement everybody in that whole fucking thing. We got to stop doing that. But unfortunately, through society and just how things have been, that's just, again, and I hate to go back to it, that's how we're programmed to think. It's just,
it 100% is.
It's a very hard thing to stop doing. Believe me, I completely get it. It's hard for me to stop doing it at times. It's happened to me numerous times. I mean, I'm a white dude. I got my, I wear a Molnir and all this other shit. I'm not the normal guy, but I mean, I get looked at like I'm a Nazi because of the way I look. Am I a Nazi? No. Am I racist? No. But am I going to call out bullshit on every spectrum of the culture? Yes. Because everybody needs to see this. Everybody needs to be aware of what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
So maybe, just maybe by some fucking slim chance we can stop and actually save this country that we have, this constitutional republic, before it's ultimately too late. I mean, because if WEF has, the clock's ticking for 2030.
Yeah.
WEF, I think, is the one organization that controls everything. Outside of the central banks, all that stuff, whatever the WEF wants, the WEF gets.
Yeah.
And those are the elites. Those are your Bill Gates. Those are your Congress people. Those are your politicians. And that's why I'm very vocal when it comes to saying this. That's why I don't support politicians, because they don't have our best interest in mind.
No.
They give you this fucking speech. They give you this fucking rambling on bullshit. Promise, 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 and they never deliver. But however, how they do deliver is by keeping us divided. And that's how it's like they take a fucking class on this. Like, once they get into office, it's like everything changes.
Yeah.
It sounds great when they're fucking campaigning, but once they get in office, it's like it seems like there's a mandatory class for these people that they got to take. Be like, okay, this is how we're going to fuck the American people.
Well, look at Kash Patel. He's the poster child for. I have never seen anybody in the history of the United States, government, FBI, CIA, or otherwise, flip as fast as he did. He went in there chomping at the bit to make a difference. They stamped it, boom, rubber stamped, you got the job. And he's like, all right, Epstein's fake, everything's fake, I'm on board, let's do this, make me a millionaire. I want to fly my 26-year-old fucking girlfriend around everywhere, or whatever, how old ever she is,
Yep.
I've never seen anybody flip as fast as he did. But that is what happens every single fucking time.
Yep. I mean, Dan Bongino. I mean, let's just take him. I mean, he was, he was all about like the Epstein files, all this. He wants, transparency, wants all this. And like literally the last I heard about him, well, maybe not the last, but like one of the last things was the fact that he was talking about, there was rumors going around that he was going to leave the FBI because he wasn't agreeing with how they were doing things. Like, mad respect if he was going to do that, but notice how he hasn't.
Right.
It's almost like even he, who was very vocal, who was very like, against all the shit that's going on right now. And now he's quiet and he's still there. And it's like, he just fell in line like the rest of them.
Well, that was the argument, like when he came out with Kash Patel and they did that interview or podcast or whatever the fuck it was, and they were talking about how the Epstein list wasn't real or whatever. You could see the fucking pain in Bongino's face saying it out loud. You could see it. But that's the argument people on the right used. They're like, no, he ain't part of the fucking group. He's only staying there to get to the bottom of it. You could see how fucking hurt he was. I don't give a shit how hurt he was or what he felt when he said that shit out loud. The fact remains, he came out and lied directly to the faces of everybody that helped him get where the fuck he is, which is the American people. Yep. His entire fan base, he lied to them. He shit in the mouths of every single fucking person that's a citizen of this country.
Yeah, no, 100% he did. Him, Kash Patel, all those little fuckers, like, even, yeah, we'll get into the other guys later, but yeah, they've all flipped the script. They've all like fell in line, and it was funny, like Pam Bondi, before she even got, confirmed all that shit by, the House and the Senate and all that stuff, was saying, yeah. The papers are there. The paper, the Epstein files are on my desk, this, that, and the other, they're there. Then all of a sudden, poof, they're gone.
I've got 10,000 hours of video to go through. There's no video. What do you mean video? I don't know. You said you got 10,000 hours of video.
Yeah. Well, let's look at the J6, stuff. I mean, they seem to be a lot quicker with the J6 shit than they are this Epstein stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, of course. Honest. Yeah, of course, because it fits their narrative, and it fits their goal of writing history as it goes. Yeah.
It blows my fucking mind that, but again, and like you said, I don't care how Dan Bongino is looking, like how he's upset, pissed off, whatever. The fact is, he sold out.
Yeah, and he took all the fuck, and he sold all of us with him. Up the river with it. And that's the thing we the people have to at the bottom understand. We have to look at the top, right? We have to look at the elites. We have to put our biases aside. We have to put our, because that's another thing that people have a problem. They have this problem looking at the elites, the people that run the WEF, right? The people that are presenters there, the speakers there. They have a problem looking at them and holding their face to the fire because somewhere down deep inside of all of our egos, we believe that we could be there one day, and we don't want to fuck that up. We don't want to get the wrong people mad at us just in case we climb that ladder. We don't want to piss off the wrong people. We don't want to piss off the wrong channels of communication. We don't want to put ourselves in a situation where we might have to answer one day for what we've said as we're in the position that we once talked shit about. But the reality is we're not going to be there. We need to hold these motherfuckers' faces to the fire. Of course, metaphorically, I'm not calling for violence in any way, but we need to metaphorically hold these motherfuckers. I gotta be so fucking careful about this shit, dude. It's insanity how fucking these people. He told me to hold your face to the fire. It's all his fault. I
can fucking see him actually like playing that in the background while they're holding somebody's face to the fire. Like, I heard it from Savagely Loud. They said to do it. So I'm doing it.
Yeah. And because of the content I put out, the government would love to nail me to the wall, because not only am I coming out here and pissing people off, which they don't like, but I'm pissing them off in a way that makes them think about all the bullshit that they've cooked up for us all, and it's starting to fix some shit.
Yeah.
They don't like that 100%. Shit.
No, they don't. I'm sure they're probably got things tapped and listening in, and they know who. I mean, I've seen other people that speak out against this, and it's funny. You can see the change. Some of these influencers, like, they start talking like hardcore, like what you've been doing and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden that narrative starts to change for them, and they start going the other way, and it's like, who got to you?
Right.
And somebody got to them because, or they wouldn't have started changing everything.
Right.
But people like us that do these type of things, that put it out there like this, we got a big old bullseye on our back. It doesn't take much nowadays, because they don't want people like us speaking out. Think of communist China. In China, if you spoke out against the government, you'd be killed.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, they don't even fuck around. They're just like, all right, signed, sealed, delivered, knock this motherfucker off and let's get on with it.
Yeah, because they don't want the backlash. They don't want the people to get together and become one.
Right.
Once that happens, it's all over.
Right. Well, and we've been saying that as a people since our inception. Like, since the beginning of people, there has been people that controlled all of the other people. And we've been saying all the way through every single generation that we're smarter than the last generation. And the fucking truth is, we ain't. We've never smartened up, because if we had smartened up at any point in time in history, we would not be in the point in time in history that we are in currently in today's society.
Correct. We wouldn't be replaying everybody else's playbook over and over and over again and continually falling for it. I mean, let's just be honest. Right.
And that's why I do what I do. That's why you do what you do. That's why so many of us do what so many of us do. Some of us have different, we all have different methods. We all have different tactics, but we all got the same basic goal. And that's the future progression of America, the solidifying of its existence on the global map for us, for our children, and the future of all of our people here in America. But we keep, like I said, we keep playing into the bullshit that every single fucking person before us played into. And we keep talking all this shit about how we're so much smarter than the last generation. Fucking are we? Because it wouldn't seem as we are. Because I think here in my truest heart of hearts, if we were truly smarter than every single generation before us, we would have put the bullshit away, despite what the government tells us to think, despite what the school system tells us to believe, despite what our fucking preachers, pastors, and rabbis tell us to fucking, feel in our hearts. We would have put all of that shit away, and we would not be fucking dying in the streets at the hands of our neighbors.
Right. No. And you're 100% right on that.
So what it's going to take, what I believe is, what it takes is for people to come out and be mean. Like I come out and I be the bad dad. Like I talk about problems in the black community. So then the black community calls me a racist. And then I talk about problems in the white community, and the white people fucking tell me I'm a race traitor. Then I talk about fucking problems in the Muslim community, and everybody cheers because the Muslims are scum of the earth. And then I talk about the Mexicans, and then, you get certain demographics are cheering and certain demographics are kind of torn. Certain demographics hate it. We have to talk about this shit. And I always get the same shit, and as does so many other people that talk about racial stuff. Why don't you fucking, why don't you don't have to be so loud. You don't have to be so mean. You don't have to be such an asshole, because I get them in my DMs. Like I always say, my content on social media is to trigger the conversation. In order to trigger the conversation, you have to piss people off, because there's only two ways to get the truth out of somebody. You got to get them drunk, or you got to get them pissed. And I can't get people drunk through a camera, so I can get them pissed and make them think. And what happens then is I come out on social media and I punch them in the fucking face, just with real information. This fucking community does this, and it's fucking horse shit. Then they're like, it's motherfucker, and it's fucking piece of shit, white boy, fucking this and that and another. Next thing you know, they're in my emails calling me a bitch, calling me a whore, calling me this, that, the other fucking thing. And then the conversation happens. And this is the part where I think everybody needs to get to, because we have to outsmart our ancestors, meaning we have to play the game they never played before, which is the same game that the elites play. The elites have figured out how to move forward while working with everybody, but also at the same time hating them. The elites hate everybody that they work with that doesn't match their ideology, their skin tone, their religion, their country of origin. They hate these motherfuckers. But they figured out that if they work with them, they can take over the fucking planet and fucking and assert power over all the stupid people at the bottom. The air quotes, stupid people at the bottom. Now, in my emails, like I said, in this conversation, this is the pivot point. They come at me and they're like, fuck you, you piece of shit, trash ball, motherfucker. Go fuck your sister. Go suck your wife's dick, this and that and the other thing. Sometimes I'll fire back, but most of the time, what I'll do is I'll just say, okay, I get why you're mad, so let's have a conversation. Right then and there. It's just as simple as that. One sentence. I get why you're mad. Let's have a conversation. Why would I fire back at you? Why would I just go decimating everything about you? I put my content out there to piss you off, so that you would speak to me. Because think about this, guys. When we were quiet, okay, let's talk about the white community, talking about the blacks and browns, right, in America, Mexicans and the black people. When we were quiet about all the problems in your community, you didn't listen. When we were quiet about all the problems in your community that were affecting our communities, our own people didn't listen. Nobody fucking listened. The government didn't listen. The news stations didn't listen. The TV didn't listen. Social media didn't listen. But when we get loud and we get abrasive, we get abrupt and we get blunt and say, this is the fucking problem I have. All you motherfuckers in that goddamn town right over there are all fucking gangbanging pieces of shit that spread garbage around your fucking town like it's ghetto seeds and all this other shit. Now you're mad. Now we can have a conversation. But we have to, as people, make it through. And this goes for everybody. If you're a black man and you're attacking the white culture, the brown culture, whatever culture, so in the same manner to get the conversation started, you can't get mad when they come at you. You're expecting that. In the moment that they come at you, you have to take a breath and do a production pivot. Pivot to a more productive path. I understand you're mad. Let's have a talk. I don't need to fucking talk to you. But I think you should talk to me. You don't. You're right. You don't need to talk to me. But I definitely think you should talk to me because I can see, and here's a great one. Give them some credit. If you want to fix this shit, give them some credit. I can see that you're an alpha male. That's why you're in my emails. That's why you're in my DMs. That's why you're talking the way you're talking to me. I'm an alpha male too. If we're both alpha males for our own people, that means we're the only ones left to work together to try to figure out how to make both of our people survive on a level that we can be proud of each other, proud of ourselves, and not be dying all the fucking time.
But unfortunately, there's not a lot of people that actually see it that way, number one. And number two, they just don't want it. I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it comes down to is like, you got to want to be able to make that change. And a lot of the people, because of, you know, the years of just having this theory just beat into them. And it's like having a brick wall. Like everybody, like, you know, they say, you know, emotionally, you know, people slam up a brick wall once they've been hurt so many times, and that wall gets thicker and thicker and thicker, which makes it harder and harder to penetrate. And that's kind of what is happening now in society across like the white community, black community, Hispanic community, so on and so forth, is that everybody has that brick wall that is so thick. And, you know, people like, you know, that like you, me, that we do what we do to incite this conversation. And with that conversation, we're just, you know, it's like just scratching the surface. And, you know, and it's going to take multiple conversations to hopefully break that wall down. But ultimately, I mean, that wall's got to come down before everybody can, you know, kind of come together.
That wall will always crumble as long as you don't need a fucking apology. That is the biggest fucking problem. Is everybody needs an apology. And the problem with that is everybody's owed an apology. I would never, ever fucking hit anybody's eardrums with this notion that nobody's deserving of an apology from another people. White people are deserving of 1,000 million trillion apologies from the black community and vice versa. Mexicans, same. Middle Easterners, fuck those guys. But as far as what we're dealing with right here, I have zero fucking love for the Middle East now, just because of the way they have absolutely decimated every fucking country they've gone into. Yes, there are good ones, but there are giant glaring fucking issues with the over-encompassing way that they treat the society as a global society. And I can't get behind it. I can't get behind it.
You just look at the Middle East and you look at any of the countries that they come to, like you said, they just turn them into a shithole.
Yeah.
I mean, just it's literally crazy. I mean, the UK is dealing with this now. I mean, hardcore. Like,
oh yeah, France used to be one of the biggest destinations on earth for everybody, or not France, Paris. Now nobody will even go there. Their fucking tourism's dropped like 81% or some shit. The last I read, like the place is broke.
Yeah, pretty soon that's what's going to be happening in the UK. You know, and coming soon to here, it's going to happen here because, unfortunately, with the Middle East, I mean, they bring their problems with them. They don't leave their baggage at the door, and they bring it with them to every country they go to. They feel like, and by leaving the baggage at the door, I'm also talking about their way they think of on their religion and all that stuff. You know, I mean, everybody has a right to freedom of religion, but when it comes to the extremist aspect of it, they try to bring that over and try to make it to where that extreme part of that religion is going to be followed in whatever country they go to. And that's why you see Sharia law trying to be implemented over in the UK, why it's, coming soon to New York City, and they're all, especially white women are all happy about this. And it's like, and I think we've touched on this before, like you realize that you're going to have rocks thrown at you because if you do something wrong, all they have to say, you know what I mean? It's just like,
you got raped and
that.
didn't have 4 male relatives to verify that you got raped. So you're going to get stoned to death in city center. Yeah. That's a great fucking plan.
Well, yeah. I watched a video about this, and this woman wanted to get divorced from her husband. They're Islam or whatever, they're Muslim. And because the husband, wanted a younger wife, he made up a story to a gentleman, to one of his buddies that was high in government. And then he took it up, and they ended up getting it to where convicting this lady of her cheating on him and getting stoned in the middle of town square. Okay. So, I mean, needless to say, she got convicted, got stoned. And the most fucked up thing about that whole situation is that they actually had her kids there and gave her kids stones and encouraged the kids to throw the stones at their own mother, to like kill their own mother. I mean, this is the type of shit we don't need. And this is all across the Middle East.
That is a religion of extremism. There's not extremists in the religion. The religion itself is extremist.
Yeah.
When you're talking,
I was trying to be nice.
Yeah, I'm not. When your fucking book that you fucking whisper into or scream into the fucking ear of infants as they're in the just born, the fucking NICU and all this other shit, and you got your fucking funnels and your speaking cones and shit, and you're fucking hollering this shit in their ear. It's a religion of extremism. When there's shit in your book saying that you need to kill other people, that's an extreme religion. There's not extremists in the religion. The religion itself is extreme. When there's fucking things in your book telling you how to kill these people, why they deserve to be killed, and what, if they don't want to convert, they need to die, or they need to pay you a tax. That is a religion of extremism, and it doesn't benefit anybody but the men of the religion. It's anti-Western civilization, like 100%. If you could make a list of everything was the antithesis of Western culture, it's Islam. That's the way it is.
Yeah, I think it's just anti-everything. I mean, it's just
it's anti-everybody that's not them.
Yeah, it's like having cockroaches that won't die.
Yeah, you just keep stomping on them, and they keep coming, and they keep coming, and keep breeding, and keep coming. But again, I call it the Muslim murder machine, with Islam with the Muslim murder machine moving into the United States, already having taken over the UK and nearly all of Europe at this point. With it coming into the United States, we have to have some fucking really hard truths. And I know all you white boys out there, y'all think that a white world would be the best. Great. How do we make it happen? You're not going to pull the trigger, are you? You're not going to be the one genociding all the black people and all the brown people and all the yellow people. You're just fucking yammering about fucking fallacies and dreams. You're not going to do anything. Well, if you're not going to do anything, wouldn't it be something to just maybe come back down to fucking reality and have a conversation about what could be done to stop this Muslim murder machine from taking us all out? And what that's going to take is us to have a conversation with people that we don't like and band together against what we all don't like collectively.
Right. I mean, okay. We want to talk about the Muslim murder machine. Let's talk about the South African murder machine. The South African government has pretty much opened season on white people down there. They're eradicating white people in South Africa.
Kill the boy, kill the boy, kill the boy.
Yeah. And are we talking about that? No. Is any of the media outlets talking about that? No, because for whatever reason, we can sit here and say and speculate that it's because it goes against the narrative, just like everything else in that, we talk about. But I mean, let's be honest, they're killing the white people down there and giving the farmlands to the black people when South Africa was primarily a white area of Africa. Yeah. And now they're moving in. They're just going to kill all the white people. And now let's talk about Sudan. Let's talk about the Congo and all the Christians that are being fucking murdered, millions of Christians, genocide daily, and not talking about it.
Yeah. Well, that's what boggles my mind about fucking, especially the white boys. The white boys that come at me, and when I say white boys, I mean white boys. I mean fucking swastika wearing white boys, like well, the ones that truly believe every other culture of people should be wiped off of the fucking face of the planet. I'm not saying you don't have any valid points. What I'm saying is you don't have a fucking spine enough to actually do it. If you were gonna do it, you'd have started a movement of people that were gonna do it, but you're not. So we have to come back down to reality, figure out where our threats are, and how we alleviate those threats. This also does go for every fucking culture of people. If you really want to fucking be mad, doesn't matter what color you are, if you want to be mad at another color of people, there's a lot of fucking reasons to be valid reasons. There's a lot of reasons for black people to hate white people. There's a lot of reasons for white people to hate black people. There's a lot of reasons for brown people to hate everybody else. There's a lot of reasons for all these people to hate all these fucking people. But we can't, we all know that we need to come together because I still believe, here it is, I still believe in what we were told growing up. Every single day in school, what did we hear? United we stand, divided we fall.
Divided we fall.
That's the fucking that is the playbook that they're running is that they're dividing us. And who was it? Tom McDonald, I think might have said it in one of his songs. He said, basically, if you dress racism up enough, we'll just buy it ourselves and then we'll sell it ourselves and we'll just kill ourselves with it, But that's the divisionary tactic. And that's something that we've all fallen prey to. I get mad at black people for the way they live. And you and I both live near black communities. I get mad because that community is a fucking shithole. I get mad because the Mexican community is a fucking shithole. I get mad at all these things. So I talk about it. This is what makes us mad. This is one of the things that is a sticking point for why we can't get along as well as we could get along. But here's the issue. Every single person out here, I truly believe we've got your 10% on either end. Your 10% left, 10% right, your 10% up, your 10% down, whatever you want to call it. We've got your fringes, okay? We're talking about the majority of people that are in this fucking country. The reason that we can't get along, we can't get to a position where we can actually put away I don't like the way you fucking walk, or I don't like the way you wear your clothes, or I don't like the way you talk. The reason we can't put that away is because we can never get to the conversation that needs to be had, because all we want right out of the gate is apologies. Everybody out here is not willing to move forward with a conversation unless an apology happens. And that becomes a giant fucking slippery slope, because what happens is, let's just say you're a black man and I'm a white man and I'm saying all this shit that pisses me off. But I'm saying all this shit that pisses me off about your community, and you're saying all this shit that pisses you off about my community. What's happening right then? What we're actually doing is we're looking for an apology. Subconsciously, we're looking for an apology. I want you as a black man to apologize to me on behalf of the black culture for the behavior you exhibit. You are looking as a black man for an apology out of me on behalf of the white culture for the behavior we exhibit that you find, discriminatory or unbecoming, whatever you want to call it. The problem with that is the apologies never end. If I give you an apology, I say, you know what? I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry that my fucking culture of people took shit all over your fucking culture of people throughout, at several different times throughout history. But now you have more questions that need apologies applied to those.
But you know what? Right. But why should we have to keep apologizing and keep on, living the cycle?
That's the mentality we need to get to. Why do we need the fucking apologies? These apologies are what's stopping us.
Exactly. I mean, instead of having the conversation, we shouldn't have to fucking apologize for what happened 200-300 years ago. That none of us were around then. Let's just be honest. We shouldn't have to. Nobody should have to apologize for whatever somebody else has done. It doesn't directly affect me. I'm talking to okay, roles reverse. You're the black man. I'm the white guy. I'm not going to look at you and be like,
show's over. I'm out of here. I'm not being black.
Okay. I could have said you're Middle Eastern.
All right. I'll take black.
But I can sit here and be like, you owe me an apology for everything that you've done to white people. Your culture has done to white people, but it doesn't directly affect me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, and you're right. And that's the hang up right there. We need to get away from having to hear that apology. Nobody should have to apologize for anybody else's actions. It's only the actions that we do that we need to apologize for. So if I did you wrong, then yeah, I would have to apologize to you for what I did to you, but I'm not going to apologize to you for what some other white dude did to your culture 300 years ago.
See, and I'll take it a step further. I don't want any apologies. No fucking apologies. If you wronged me, fine. I don't give a shit. How do we get to a place between us that it doesn't happen again? I give a fuck about your apology. Apologies to me mean very, very little to almost nothing because words are easy and people typically just apologize, not believing it, but to shut you the fuck up and make things okay again. That's why people apologize.
It's your actions.
Yeah. Why are you apologizing to me if you shouldn't have done that in the first place and you fucking knew it?
Right. Okay, you want to apologize to me? Well, you know what? Instead of apologizing, maybe show me that you are apologetic for whatever you did by maybe changing that behavior or changing whatever you did. But I mean, we have to get out of that loop of, looking for that apology. Because if we continue to look for that apology, conversations aren't going to happen. Yeah. They never will. And we continue to be divided and all that stuff. We need to, the best way I can say this is we can't worry about the past. We can't worry about the future. We got to be in the now. And the now is what is important. And by living like that, I think that might actually help in some sort of way. At least that's how I try to live my life. I try to live my life every day where it's like, I don't worry about the past. I don't worry about the future. I worry about this second right now.
Yeah. Why the fuck are we so worried about what happened 200 fucking years ago and not paying any attention to what's going to happen tomorrow? Right. I mean,
or what's happening right now.
Right.
Right in this moment.
Yeah, and because that leads to what's going to fucking happen tomorrow. Everything that's happening right now is what needs to get solved. It becomes, these apologies it becomes this endless zipper of apologies. Like I call it the apologetic zipper loop, right? It's because every apology you give, it needs another apology. So I say, hey, I'm really sorry for this. And then you go, well, why the fuck did you do that? And then you want another apology. So I got to now apologize for something else. And then I apologize for that. And then it leads to another apology. So it's just like this zipper of apologies that just keeps going around like fucking gears and you never get to the end. What it's going to take is for black people, for white people, for brown people, for yellow people, purple people, rainbow people, all of us to just come to the table and be like, fuck the apologies. All of the apologies. I don't give a shit about the apologies. Fuck them. I don't want them. I don't need them. I don't care about them. And I'm not giving them. So let's talk about what we're going to do to all respectively change our behaviors so that we don't ever have to apologize to another fucking demographic of people again. Once we have that conversation, once we get to that mindset of not needing the apology, not feeling so entitled that you have to have somebody accept that they did you wrong. It's so childish. Once we get to the mindset of progression, of making progress, of doing the work and writing down actionable tasks that everybody can actually adhere to stop pissing off people or to stop shitting on people or to stop hurting people. Once we get to that mindset where we can go in, fuck the apologies, let's all work together to figure out how to stop this from happening tomorrow, that is when the elites start losing.
Right. Exactly. The elites will start losing once we can actually get to that point. But mind you, once we get to that point, they're going to do everything that they can to create something else. Yep. And we have to be aware of that.
Yep.
Once you are aware of, of that, I mean, let's just take the pandemic. All right. That was like a stomping, that was like let's see how this works. And it worked perfectly. But once it stopped working, other things started coming. And once those didn't get any headway, then let's go back to the pandemic. And okay, now people aren't falling for that anymore. Let's go to something else. That kind of thing, those kind of things are going to continually to happen. And you got to resist it. I mean, let's be honest, we have to resist whatever they're going to throw at us next, because they're trying to do, by doing that, they're doing that to get that divide back, because they need that back so much. I mean, whether it's, I've heard so many different things. Like there was threats of, during COVID was starting to get over, and then all of a sudden it was the de-dollarization of the dollar, and so on and so forth. And they just kept on going with it. But once something wasn't working, then you had the monkeys, and then you had monkeypox, and then you had this, you had that.
Whatever happened to the fucking killer hornets? Whatever happened to the murder hornets? And like that was supposed to sweep over the U.S. and like it just went in with a whisper and out with a
exactly
queef.
And the monkeys, all those the monkeys out on, I believe it was on the East Coast with the truck overturning that had, with their test monkeys, those came out and poof, gone, because it wasn't working. And we're at that point in our society right now where the elite know that we're not being fooled as easily as we once were, but they are going to get very creative, and they have many different things that they have in the works that they've been implementing at short little bursts. But we have to be mindful of that, when we have to be like, okay, question everything. You need to question everything. You can't believe everything you see. Especially now with AI is so rampant as it is all over social media. They throw AI videos out there all the time, to trigger everybody, because they know they can. And because it's so hard to be able to distinguish if it's AI or if it's real,
right.
And they know this. They know it 100%. I mean, I've seen videos, and it's just one little fuck up in the frame, and that's how you know that it's an AI.
Yeah. A finger
and
wiggle in the wrong direction and shit.
Right. And you have to look at it and be like, okay, that's fake. But they're doing this because they're running out of options.
Well, I also think they're flooding the market for plausible deniability in the future. They flood they flood our media channels with all these AI videos. So a year from now or 2 years from now, when they get caught doing a bunch of fucked up shit on video, they can say, it's fucking AI. You guys all know that people make these amazing AI videos all the time. And we can't tell the difference. Is AI. I didn't do none of that shit.
Exactly. And that's exactly what they're going to do.
And the only way we're going to fucking stop that is for the people at the bottom, like us, to not play the fucking game. They want us divided. So think about this. If you were in power and you had 25 million horses to look after, right? Just right now. Would it be easier to have 25 million horses in pens of 5 million horses apiece that are kind of separated from each other? Or would it be easier to monitor 25 million horses running across the Great Plains of the United States? This is how they keep us in those corrals. They keep us in our own mental boxes by playing all this shit, inundating us with all of this fucking rhetoric and this propaganda every single day, all day long, all night long, because they know it will work.
Yep.
If you want to suffocate the power structure, you've got to stop letting it work. You've got to start understanding what you're looking at, and start understanding that what they're doing, and start knowing that it doesn't have to work on you. But I mean, the big problem is that they've got valid points. Like a lot of this shit is valid points. When white boys come on and talk about the black community, they got a lot of valid points. I'm one of them. When I come on and talk about fucking white, I talk about the white community. I got a lot of valid points. We got to stop looking at, instead of saying, hey, I'm calling out the fucking problem and then you hating me because I called out the problem. We've got to start saying, I'm calling out the problem because it bothers me. And then we approach this like a repairing relationship. So anybody that's ever been in a romantic relationship, especially, there's going to be times where you have to work on some shit. You don't see eye to eye. Something happens, a rift, a tiff happens, and then you've got work to do. You've got work to understand their side, and then you've got work to understand your side, and then you've got work to understand that you don't necessarily have to agree with their side to understand that it did affect, whatever you did affected them, and you should probably not do that again.
Right. No, exactly.
It's just a bad relationship we're all in. I don't think we're broken. I think we're really fucking bent up. We're twisted up pile of steel. But my whole job is to untwist steel and to make it nice again. So I think we can do it.
I think we can. It's just, it's going to be a lot of work. It really is, and it's going to take, you know, it's going to take a lot of people to be able to make that happen. It really is. I mean,
Well,
let's be
yeah,
honest.
it's an insurmountable, never-ending mountain of work. And that's what it is. Until we get all of the people on Earth, we'll take this country. As long as until we get everybody in America, 400 million fucking people, to understand that we don't have to love each other, we don't have to like each other for all intents and purposes, we are destined to hate each other. But if we could put away the necessity for an apology and get to the conversation about how we all progress forward without the fucking foot of the elites on every one of our throats, we're going to continue this fucking game. We're going to continue this right down the shitter.
Yeah. I mean, and there's no way around that, unfortunately. I mean, will it happen in our lifetime? Probably not.
No.
I think we may get close, depending on if more and more people start to, wake up like that, like we like to say. But if more people don't start waking up, and that's what they're trying to prevent, we won't see it in our lifetime. Hopefully the next generations may see it in theirs and prevent it from escalating even further. But I mean, realistically, I mean, right now, I mean, we already have a clock running for 2030.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's revving up. I mean,
well,
it's not much longer. You only got 4 years left.
Yeah. And the only way this is going to happen long term is to have the same dedication as the people that are trying to destroy us. The people that are trying to destroy us have been working on it for hundreds of years, at least 250 fucking years, basically here in America, give or take. They've been working on this whole system, how to destroy the population, the low end, bottom end people of the country. They've been dedicated through generations. The only way this is going to get fixed is if we the people, we become dedicated to the cause of fucking stomping out their power structure, and we get dedicated to it for generations, meaning I may be presenting this fight till the day I fucking die, and then somebody comes behind me, picks up the fucking mantle, and starts running again. Picks up the fucking, pulls the reins and fucking hauls ass. We need generations of people that are dedicated to fixing the future of mankind. But I get it. It's really fucking difficult because everybody's so consumed with what's in it for me right now. I need instant gratification or I'm not interested.
Right. And, and that's, and you're 100% right there. I mean, and unfortunately it is like that. Everybody wants results like today, like now, this second, this minute, but it doesn't happen. It takes work. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that. Like everything, like, especially what we do by bringing, this stuff to the light, it's, and I just lost my train of thought. Son of a bitch.
Well, how do you know? Here's something to think about. How do you know what you don't know? You have to be told. Right. If you don't understand or don't know something, you have to be told something. And I always say you don't know until you know. It's what you do after you know that is the real pivotal factor. It's the real dividing line between the men and the boys. It's it's never fun to hear your fucking problems from somebody else. It just isn't. It's never a fucking blissful interaction to hear that you've got some glaring fucking issues that are affecting other people negatively. But what you do after you have the information says everything about you. If you then take that information and, alter your behavior in a manner that stops affecting other people so negatively, you've become part of the solution. If you take that information and you say, fuck you, don't like it, I don't care, I'm not changing, you are part of the fucking problem.
And unfortunately, I think our society, as a society, I would have to say that at least 70% of society is that last way. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think about me. I don't give a shit about what I did, blah, blah, blah. It is what it is. And that's 30% trying to change, not necessarily change that 70%, but to try to open up that 70%'s mind to a different avenue That's going to be the tricky part.
Yeah, but it's going to take, and it's going to take some bad motherfuckers to come out here and take bullets and arrows from every fucking direction to get anywhere with this shit. And that's what we need. You know, I fire up the fucking internet every day, and I see thousands upon thousands upon thousands of fucking people telling the world how bad as fuck they are. I'm a bad motherfucker. You can't fuck with me. I'm going to fuck you up. I'm on this. I'm on that. I'm on that. I'm rich. I'm wealthy. I'm this. I got roles. I got... But you ain't got no fucking conversational skills to stop the fucking problem that's deteriorating the country. I don't give a fuck about your Rolls Royce. I really fucking don't. I have worked on a lot of fucking Rolls Royces, and I've built several old Rolls Royces. Nice cars. That's where it ends. I really give a fuck less. No car on earth is, because I know everything there is to know about fucking cars, how they're built, because that's what I do. There's not a car on earth that's worth millions of fucking dollars. Just ain't. The fucking Corvette C8 is built by McLaren, and it performs the same as the McLarens, and it's $100,000 or $112,000. The McLarens are $1 million because you've got the name McLaren on it rather than the name Chevrolet. Stop looking at the clothing that everything is dressed up in and start seeing for what it is. What it is a plan to keep us divided.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all status symbols. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, okay, hey, I got $1 million car. Look at me. I'm above you. You're below me. You drive this like fucking Kia. You're below me because I drive this. You know, and that even goes on to people that drive BMWs. They look at you differently. You know, if you have a Mercedes, it can even be an older Mercedes. But again, the car, like even with cars, motorcycles, you know, the toys and all that stuff. A lot of people feel the more toys I have, the more my status symbol.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the exact opposite. I can give a fuck what you got. That doesn't make you a good human being.
Yeah. Especially, I don't give a fuck what you got, especially if I can't ride it. You know? Like,
exactly. If I ain't going to be able to ride it or drive it or whatever, fuck you. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Shove it up your ass.
It might as well be on a shelf at a toy store. That I'm not buying. It doesn't matter to me. You know?
No, exactly.
But we've been taught that it's supposed to matter.
Oh, no. And exactly. We've been taught that is supposed to matter. Status symbols are supposed to matter. The clothes that you wear is supposed to matter. You have to wear designer stuff or you're not this. You know, you have to eat this, like certain types of, you know, cuts of meat or, you know,
shop
you're
at
looked
certain
on
places.
Differently.
And
right. And that's, again, I mean, okay, you just said it right there. You shop at different places. You look at all these other shopping places. Like, do you think an average cat like you or myself are going to go to Rodeo Drive in California in LA to go shopping?
Right.
Fuck no.
You go to Macy's and pick that shit up at a discount.
Right. We'll go out on the streets and pick that shit up. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like Rodeo Drive for us is like going to a JC Penney's.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I mean, it's like, but I mean, they use that as well. I mean, that structure, you know, all your retail is there also to keep you divided because certain people are only going to go certain people are going to go to certain places because that's what they can afford. And it's all part of the whole fucking cycle that we live.
Yeah. And you know what? And I get it. I like nice shit. I do like nice shit. I like a lot of nice shit, but I don't like nice shit in the sense of, you know, or where to the point where I could have a $35 million car collection and have a warehouse full of $10 employees that aren't making the fucking ends meet.
No,
like,
exactly.
It's just not that important to me. No. You know?
See, I've always told myself, you know, like I played the lotto a few times, like, and I've always told myself, you know what? If I won the lottery, I would only want enough. Yeah, I would give it all to Cliff over here because Cliff deserves it. Give him your money, people.
I'm entitled to your winnings.
You're entitled to all my winnings. But I always told myself, you know, like all I would want from the money, you know, if I won a jackpot of say like 30, 40 million or whatever, you know, yeah, I would take the money. I would pay off all my debt. I'd pay off the debt of my family, you know, make sure they all had homes, make sure that they were set up, make sure the kids were set up, stuff like that. I wouldn't, you know, it's like, but there's a lot of people that if they won something like that, they're, oh no, mine.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like but again, it falls in that mindset where you have to have that mindset where it's, you know, you're helping others, you know, and that's kind of, it almost kind of goes hand in hand, like helping to break that divide is by helping.
Yeah.
When somebody needs help, you help them. That should be part of human nature, but it isn't
Yeah.
in a lot of spots, But I mean, even with that, it's like, I had a conversation about, yeah, if I won the lottery, and people looked at me like I was fucking crazy. Like, yeah, after I set everybody in my family up, I'd set up my close friends and stuff like that. And then I would start, like, I would literally go down to like the city of Chicago with money to the homeless people and be like, and talk to them and just start handing out fucking money to people, like here, because what the fuck am I going to spend it on? Money is the root of all evil in my eyes. I'm perfectly fine with the shirt you see on my back right now. This shirt's fucking, God, I don't even know how old it is, but it's black. It's a black cat customs. Social distortion. It's Mike Ness's fucking shop. I've had this shirt for fucking a long fucking time. Clothes and shit like that don't matter to me. Like, I don't need that status symbol. But people need to get out of that.
That has a lot to do with knowing who the fuck you are. Most of these people that are obsessed with other people seeing them as something they want that because they don't know who the fuck they are, and they're waiting for other people to validate their identity.
Well, and that's where you get all these influencers that are all over, and they help to push all that stuff too, which again, and I hate to say it like this, but everything that is being done is in essence to help keep everybody divided.
Yeah, well, it's if you can keep people broke, you can keep them divided. You can keep them frazzled. You can keep them arguing. I mean, why is it that the Treasury keeps printing money, but we're still paying taxes?
Yeah.
Like, they're just printing money off of, and it's money because they said it's money, and it's all going into their fucking banks and their coffers, but we're still paying taxes. So if you can print all this money, which you're doing, why are we having to give you so much of ours? Why don't you just print it off? It does. You're not going to fucking continue to lie to us and say, well, it's all about, inflation and deflation and supply and demand and backing of gold and not, and the fiat currency that we live. It's all money because we say it's money. And the reason we say it's money is because the rich, the elites, the wealthy people at the top say it's money. The reason we don't have any is because they tell us there's reasons that we're not supposed to have it and that we need to give it to them.
Right. Well, and now let's look at it like this too. With those rich people, when it comes to taxes, income tax and stuff like that, if you honestly looked at their income tax and seen how much money out of the millions of dollars they make a year and how much money they actually pay in taxes, it's like next to nothing. Because the tax code has been designed in a way that they've been able to find the loopholes because they have the money to pay for these people to find those loopholes, so they continually save money and they don't have to pay those taxes. Or they have LLCs. There's other avenues to be able to do so.
You're not wrong. But we do have to acknowledge the point that, or the fact that the top 1% of earners pay 40% of the tax here. That's a sticking point and they do it in multiple ways. It's through their businesses, but right. Like you said, and 100% factually, like you said, they do have all these loopholes and all these games and all these people and lawyers and attorneys and tax accountants and all this stuff to figure out how to pay less tax. After they do all of that, they still pay 40% of the fucking tax here in America, and the rest of the 99% make up the other 60% tax. Right. So when you hear people saying, pay your fair share, well, what the fuck is your fair share? If the top 1% is paying 40% and the bottom 99% is paying 60%, that seems a little bit fucking skewed,
Well, let's take that one step further. I mean, that 1%, that top 1%, yeah, they pay 40% of the taxes. Okay. But is it them personally that's paying the 40% of the taxes, or is it their companies paying the 40% of the taxes? Because a lot of the times those people in the 1%, they have all these different, shell LLCs.
Companies and
so they they get money from an LLC to buy an asset. Well, you don't pay taxes on assets. So then what they do is they get this asset and then they go to a bank and then they take a loan to pay for that asset, and you can't be taxed on the loan that you're taking, and they just continually kind of run this kind of a cycle over and over again. So their personal taxes aren't being they're not paying much in personal taxes because everything's coming from shell companies and LLCs and through loans from the banks. Yes, their companies are paying it, because you can't like shelter as much money as a lot of those companies make, for that top 1%. You can't, there's just no way. And that's where they're getting their taxes from. Personally, I think they probably pay a lot less, but their businesses actually are the ones that pretty much pay the majority of that.
Yeah. Their businesses and their employees and their corporations and their S corps and their LLCs and their all this other shit is always, there's always another shell to lift up with a little bit of cash underneath it, And again, I mean, we can tie that right back to what I said earlier. That affects the future and the sovereignty of the populace of America, and that's what we're shaking about. We have to talk about the issues that piss us off, and we have to get to a point where we can talk about them not so nicely. Like, I don't know if you guys notice this, but I don't really worry about pissing people off. I really don't worry about offending people. I really don't worry about what you think of me, because I know who I am. I know my mission and I know my goal. My mission is fucking noble. My goal is just. My methods, we got to work with those sometimes. That stays malleable. I address so many people all the time, and nobody's like, addressing this person doesn't work in the same way as addressing that person. You address this person this way, but if you take that way and you address another person, you just got shot for it. So it's going to take motherfuckers to just come out here and have the fucking conversation about who the real enemies are, what the real enemy of our own success and our own thriving and our own prosperity here as the American population goes. We're going to have real conversations about what the fuck this really is, and how, honestly, I don't think the black community is fucking completely standing in the way of the wealth of the white community. I don't think the white community is standing in the way of the wealth of the Mexican community. I don't think that all these I think the elites got their fucking feet on all of our throats, and they're telling us to hate the person we're looking at as we turn our head, and he's got somebody's fucking foot on his throat, but we're being told to hate him. I get it. I understand. Before you guys fucking come at me like you do all the time, I understand that there is glaring issues in a lot of these demographics of people. In fact, all of the demographics of people have glaring issues. But that's why we talk about this shit. That's why we try to have a productive pivot moment and focus our attention in the right direction instead of having it just alphabet soup all the fucking time.
Right. No, you hit the nail on the head there, man. You really did. I mean, these are tough conversations to have, and, it's going to, I think a good way, like the way you're doing it is a good way to get that conversation going, and, I know one thing I like to do is, like, if somebody comes up to me and, like, they say, I don't like you. And I just look at them like, why? What did I do? And once you put them on the spot and you ask them that question, why, that puts them on the spot as well. And that also can help create that conversation of, like, really figure out, like, well, what did I do to you that makes you hate me? Like, I don't even know you. So explain to me why, and stuff like that will actually help to get that conversation going too.
I've told people, like, they tell me straight out, in no uncertain terms, like, I don't fucking like you. And I'd be like, well, I can understand that. So let's figure out how to make you like me. What can I do that will make you like me a little bit more? Well, I don't fucking know. So let's start talking. Let's start thinking about the solution. It's all about leading the conversation where you need to have the conversation for the benefit of the future of everybody around you.
Exactly.
On that note, I think we should probably wrap this up. We're pushing about an hour and a half now. Guys, let's close this out with just that. I mean, you stay, don't do the zipper of apologies, the endless zipper loop of apologies. We're done with apologies. Nobody owes anybody a fucking apology. I, as a white man, don't want apologies from all the other cultures. You, as all the other cultures, could stop wanting apologies from white men. And let's just figure out how the fuck we can get to a point where we can actually work together. Again, I always have to preface this. I always have to say this. We're not looking to be besties. We're not looking to tribe up. We're not looking to have PJ parties and fucking, eat popcorn out of each other's boxes while we watch fucking movies. None of that shit. We just need to work together because that's what the elites do. They work together to create their mission or to execute on their mission and achieve their goals. That's what we need to be doing.
That's exactly what we need to be doing.
Where can they find you, Dave?
Well, folks, you can all find me over on, I'm heavily active on Instagram and on Facebook at The Hammer Drops. Visit us over on our website, thehammerdrops.com, to find where you can listen to us on all your favorite podcast platforms. We're also over there on YouTube, TikTok for the time being. And for those of you that may be interested, you saw the episode that we did about Norse paganism. For those of you that might be interested in that, that's a new project that I got going at the Heathen Drops over there on Instagram and on Facebook. And you can find that as well on TikTok with a whole plethora of information on Norse paganism as well.
And you guys are going to love that. Go check out the Heathen Drops. It's a sister page to the Hammer Drops. They have very, very similar branding. You'll be able to pick it out right away. He's doing a great job on his branding. He's doing a great job getting his show going, moving up, gaining followers. It's a good show. It's definitely good information, and it's entertaining stuff over there on the Heathen Drops. So go check that out. If you guys want to help me out, you can follow me on Instagram at Savagely Loud. That is where I'm most active. And on that page, Savagely Loud on Instagram, you're going to find 2 links. One of those links is to the Savagely Loud podcast page. If you could please follow me there too, as it will be inevitably be my backup page. It would be greatly appreciated. The second link you're going to find on that page is a simple link tree. Anywhere you want to find my videos or listen to my rants, you can find them there. Outside of that, Facebook, X, Rumble, and Substack at Savagely Loud, YouTube Savagely Loud Podcast, and you can email me in at savagelyloud@gmail.com, which I definitely recommend you do if you want me to see your comment. Last but not least, like, comment, share the material. Do not forget to rate the show. It actually does help us an absolute fuck ton. I almost said metric fuck ton, but I had somebody in the comment section the other day when I used the term metric fuck ton. They told me, this is America. It's a SAE fuck ton. So we've got a SAE fuck ton going on here. Without, which I really like that comment. I love interacting with my followers and my fans and my friends. And, I kind of sound douchey with saying followers. Like, I just think everybody's people, everybody, we all kind of congregated on my page just because somebody said something somebody liked. That's all I really look at it as. But like always, every single show, we get into the fucking sticky wickets of shit. We get down into the weeds. We get into the nitty gritty, and we don't want to walk away from the episode all amped up, all anxiety ridden. So let's take a second to remind ourselves that humans still exist inside of humanity with a little segment I call Hopelessly Human that starts a little bit like...
People can be really rough. They can be quite tough. They can get in the way, but at the end of the day, some aren't only stupid, some are hopelessly human.
Yes, they are. Some are hopelessly human. And some stories, they're going to touch you, and this is going to be one of them. It's a little bit longer than I typically do, but I think it's a really, really great story. It's coming off of a site called Shubhapti or Shubhaped. I don't know. It's a great story. Listen up. It's titled A True Heartwarming Story. It says, I read this touching story of a boy selling from door to door to pay for his school. One day he found he had only had 1 thin dime left and he was hungry. He decided he would ask for a meal at the next house. However, he lost his nerve when a lovely young woman opened the door. Instead of a meal, he asked for a drink of water. She thought he looked hungry and brought him a large glass of milk. He drank it so slowly and then asked, "How much do I owe you?" She said, "You don't know me. You don't owe me anything," she replied. Mother has taught us to never accept pay for kindness." He said, "Then I thank you from my heart." As he left the house, he felt physically stronger, and his faith in God and man was strong. He had been ready to give up and quit. Many years later, that same young woman became critically ill. The local doctors were baffled. They finally sent her to the big city where they called in specialists to study her rare disease. Howard Kelly was called in for the consultation. A strange light filled his eyes when he heard the name of the town she came from. Immediately, he rose and went down the hospital hall to her room. Dressed in his doctor's gown, he went in to see her. He recognized her at once. He returned to the consultation room, determined to do his best to save her life. From that day, he gave special attention to her case. After a long struggle, the battle was finally won, and Kelly requested the business office to pass the final bill to him for approval. He looked at it, wrote something on the edge, and sent the bill to her room. She feared to open it, for she was sure it would take the rest of her life to pay for it all. Finally, she looked, and something caught her attention on the side of the bill. She read these words: "Paid in full with 1 glass of milk. Signed, Dr. Howard Kelly." Tears of joy flooded her eyes as her happy heart prayed, "Thank you, God. Your love has spread broad through human hearts and hands." Dr. Kelly, 1858 to 1943, was a distinguished physician who was one of the 4 founding doctors of Johns Hopkins University Medical Center and the first medical research which was the first medical university research university in the United States. This is a true story. I did vet this. I did look into this. And for all intents and purposes, it appears to be real. But let me tell you what, you can change a life with nothing but a glass of milk. That's Hopelessly Human. That's the show.